but then they pretend that they're holier and better than you.
And that's
Streaming
why,
live, baby.
we talk all the what's
Go
up,
ahead.
everybody? We talk all the time about, like me and you, Carlito, we even talk. Like, you're like, oh, then why do you even do this stuff for the planet, whatever? Because I can't. Hold on.
No, I didn't say
I
the
can't
music
shit
yet.
on you guys for not doing the right thing while I'm not doing the right thing too.
Oh, so you do it. So you do it just so you could talk crap then.
No, but I have to be principled. That's exactly what I'm about. I have to
I'm
be
joking.
principled.
I'm joking.
Mhm.
But at least
I
I
won't
know.
say his name, but we used to have this guy that we used to know that we still know that he you probably won't even know who I'm talking about without saying his name, but he would always be preaching, always be preaching, always be preaching, but he kind of just like what we were talking about with Gabe, like then when it comes to him, it's like, oh, this isn't my problem, like you guys are the ones all screwing up. That's not me.
Put it on the chat.
Oh, okay.
Holly, what's up, Holly? Holly Horn. You came over from Harlan's
I
Media?
got a guess. Let me see.
Let us know. Much
Oh,
love to you, Holly.
that was my second guess, but that guy, I had documented beef with this dude.
Yeah.
Like not beef like I'm gonna fight you beef, but it's like beef like, dude, you're
a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's not me.
Like not beef like I'm gonna fight you beef. Ooh, what was that?
Sorry, that's I joined.
What's going on, everybody in the chat and everybody? We're about to talk politics, but we're doing a pre-show and we're gonna start the show right at 8 o'clock. So you're just hanging out, talking trash, and I'm about to show some tweets as soon as something.
I missed this. Holly, what's from Sabby Sabs? What is that?
Oh, Sabby Sabs. I know that. That's another podcast. That's a Fred Hampton leftist. She's a woman that has her own chat, her own channel.
I never heard of that
What
one.
just happened to the box?
Gabe came in, so let me fix the boxes. Pin.
I don't know. Sabby Sabs.
No.
Guess I gotta look her up, Holly. I'm not familiar.
Hide self view. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm personally having a hard time with Amazon. I'm feeling the guilt, and I'm trying to get my family to stop shopping there with me.
It's about damn time. Better late than never, I guess.
Nah, it's not like that. At least I'm not saying like, yeah, I'm not making excuses. Like, yo, sometimes it's convenient, and it is what it is. I try to not to, but sometimes I still do. But
yeah, but for the longest time, you were like, I don't care. Yeah, I shop on Amazon. Who cares?
Oh, I was never like
No,
that.
he never
I was
said
never.
that.
I was never like that.
Don't make me go back in the transcripts.
No.
Nah.
I would definitely defend him on that.
I'm not saying he was for Amazon. I'm not saying he was like when we have him on when we talk about Amazon on the show, he was defending them.
No.
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying
I'll be
in our
shopping.
chat.
About shopping. He never really like.
Yeah,
Now,
I wasn't like riding.
Bendone and Gabe.
Yeah,
They're like, yeah.
no, there's levels. I'm in between Izzy and Gabe and Medon.
All right, guys. I want to show you all this real quick. We're gonna go through some tweets, and I thought this was a funny tweet that Media-san he put up. Every Indian parent is like, why is this not my child? And basically, this is a guy that put Johnny Kim. He was a Navy SEALs. That's him over here, Navy SEALs. Then he became a Harvard-trained doctor. That's him in the middle. Then he became an astronaut. What?
Wow.
Listen, if he could do it, everybody could do it. There's no excuses.
Using this guy to say anybody can do it. Oh my gosh.
Well, that's what people do. That's that model immigrant thing. It's like if this guy made it, what's your excuse for not making it? You lazy American.
Yeah, that's the Republican argument. Like, pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
But I don't got any.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then not to mention that a lot of the immigrants that come in, it's like a self-selected group. I mean, you got to have the drive and all that stuff to encourage to even leave your country in the first place. To go to a strange place. So it's already kind of like, all right, this is the kind of person that probably would have made it his own country too. But not everybody got to be a CEO of everything, man.
Check out the stars
real
of
quick,
the week.
hold up.
Go ahead,
Are
Izzy.
we all good with the boxes because they look a little? And then also we see like the top of your head. It's a pretty head. Don't get me wrong, but we only see the top of it.
Just looking up your
Oh, my
nose.
bad. The my camera. I'm using my iPhone to show myself, so it went down.
And
I
then
gotta
are we
get
good?
like
So we all good with the
something to stick it.
boxes?
I think so. Bendo and
Wait,
Carlito.
did you say iPhone?
I'm using the
You have-
iPhone.
for someone that's always bashing Apple products, you surely have a lot of them.
Who bashes Apple products?
Oh,
Adrian, yeah, Case.
I never.
nah, his
Apple.
case is not.
I don't bash Apple.
That's
I have a Mac.
That's,
He's always been an Apple.
that's Izzy
fan.
and I.
Yeah.
Okay.
But look at these people right here. The enemy of the people. You see it?
I see it.
Mansion and cinema.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I messed up my setup. I was gonna say who is that, but you know, Izzy actually got it. Because we haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, got those cahoots or whatever. What's it called?
Yeah.
They're in cahoots.
So I'm gonna delete that one. We're done with that one. See what else we got here. Oh, look at this crazy. Can you hear the music?
Yeah.
Let me turn it down. Is it too loud?
Yeah. Was this thing like a land drone?
Yeah.
What is that? Say?
Now, is it low or can you still hear the music?
Now we can't hear it at all.
Can't hear it. Okay, good. I'm just trying to test this.
Now we hear it.
It's right there good?
It'll
down.
That's to like run through protesters.
Looks like it.
Yeah, that's for protesters.
Wow, it sprays the freaking tear gas.
That's defund the police.
Wow. Is that in YPD?
Yeah. I love the super inspirational music too.
It wouldn't surprise me if that's NYPD.
All right, I'm gonna mute it so we could talk.
Yo, they got too much money, man.
Yeah. You saw that?
But also like, I mean, how many places is this thing going to be applicable? Because you have to have a really narrow road for that to not just easily be walked around, right? I mean,
Yeah. Defund the police.
That just man, that's just somebody's excuse to spend money, man.
yeah, basically.
They had their own.
That sounds like a
drone
big
dog,
neat
too.
scheme.
A big D ski. Is he even here?
I know. I just summoned them.
You have to ask for him 3 times.
Yeah. Student loans.
Well, hey, the best part is that we don't get the music now, so we just get the.
Yeah. So it's almost like advertising the show, actually. So it works out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's show cinema in the bathroom.
Oh, you saw her statement?
Camera's not allowed in there. Come on now. Don't be nasty.
There's 2 videos, so this is the first one.
Oh my God.
Will you support the Build Back Better plan so that we can have justice and solutions that we need for immigration, labor, climate change?
Back the bill.
Build back better, pass the bill.
Build back better. Pass the bill. Build back better.
But where is this?
It's in Arizona State. She put a statement
Teacher.
out there. So she's a
Yo.
professor at ASU.
John,
Which-
how is she a professor? You're a senator. How
Exactly.
are you
That's
a
what's
professor?
that was going to be my point. So how
I don't
can
get it.
ASU still like have her as a professor there? So it just
You know what? People in Congress get so much vacation that they can have a second job. Ain't that crazy?
Did you see the link, the tweet that I shared where when she was running in 2018, where she was talking about lowering drug prescription? So she ran on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure her out. Like what's she doing? This kind of stuff. I was listening. Somebody was talking about her, and I learned a few things. Like she was like graduated high school at 16, college at 18, and like super smart person, and then progressive coming out. Like, how is this flip flop? Like, is there something like wrong with her? Like looking for attention?
She saw her return on investment. Which way does she? This is what I'm saying. Like, you go from.
But she's in Arizona though. She's not mentioned.
But again, it's at the end of the day, you got to look at it, and I think this is probably what we'll talk about later. Is you have these people, they go into it, they make $100 grand a year, let's say, give or take, right? And they come out 6 years later, multimillionaires. So to her, it's like, which way? How do I get to
but
a millionaire faster?
This is different from Manchin, I think, because Manchin, like, one, he's in a state where, he could get away with more. So while Arizona's trending more blue, so she's going like the opposite way where she's supposed to be there. But then if she wants to be a lobbyist, you want to be somebody that your colleagues don't hate. So
not if they're not going to be your colleagues for long. She's only planning to be in this term. She's going to go get paid.
Nah, the only news, baby.
She's getting paid.
You're going to get more paid. That's the only reason, because she won't win. So that she's not going to win a second term. So she's going to not run again. There's no way that she's going to win again in her. But the thing is, she's not due to run again for like 4 years.
In 2024.
She's pretty much stuck in.
Yeah, so she's gonna. But I don't think she's going to win a primary again. I hope not. But so let's go down with that thinking, Carlito. She's going to become a lobbyist. You can't become a lobbyist. You have to keep your connections, like you said, right? So what's the other thing? Maybe she's just going straight work for a pharmaceutical company like Joe Manchin's daughter, right? What I think we should do is kind of like try to boycott whatever company she goes to work for. What you guys think?
I'm for it.
Amazon,
you know me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Even better. Even better.
I'm just surprised. Again, I'm surprised the ASU is still keeping her as a professor.
I don't understand how you can have both jobs.
Well, maybe an adjunct or like a lecture, like does a lecture a week and that's it.
No, according to her statement, she says she's been teaching for like 19 years or something like that. So if you look at her statement in Twitter that she kept talking about how the First Amendment and gives you rights to do this, but not what it was done. And then even Mark Kelly came to her defense that how hard she works for Arizonians, and he was getting people were like, what? People were like, what are you talking about, dude? So it's crazy.
That's nuts.
Listen, I don't think the Arizona school system is leading edge for this nation, so I guess I'm not too surprised.
I'm going to play this video also real quick.
Hold on, real quick, Case. It's 8 o'clock, just so you know.
Okay, right after this, guys, we're going to start the show.
Okay, I'll be back.
So then we want to talk to you real quick. Can we talk to you real quick?
Hi, actually, I am heading out.
But right now is a real moment that our people need in order for us to be able to talk about what's really happening. We need a Build Back Better plan right now.
We knocked on doors. We need solutions to Build Back Better plan.
Oh, yeah.
That's
bringing a camera in the bathroom
that's
now.
too much.
Yeah, that's what she was saying. Yeah, that's a little bit.
You mean having
if
the cameras too
if
much?
Republicans did that to us, we would be like canceling them.
Oh, this might be a no-cow zone, boy. Okay, we're going to bring this topic back for no-cow zone because I'm on the opposite of that one. All right, let's start the show.
Look her up real
Dude,
quick.
it's the bathroom. There's
bathroom.
I don't give
it's
a
the
crap.
bathroom.
I don't give
It's
a
a
crap.
place of privacy. Like out of all the
You get
places,
no
wait till the
privacy.
second she gets out the door. The second she gets out the door, it's fair game. But she's literally in a bathroom stall. That's where you do your number ones and your number twos.
You know what's
and
going
with
too
the
far?
gaps in the doors, there's no way with a camera on the gap of the door. What they gonna do? Like get an upskirt of her? Like, nah, that's low class, bro.
That's going too far. Now, if she put the phone under, now I'm saying I'm right there with you.
You could get a shot
far.
through the cracks. The cracks are like this big in American toilets.
Okay, so I'm going with the view that we're watching right now. I'm talking about what we're watching. I don't know about that girl in the
Right
red.
there.
She's holding a
Yeah, but
camera
she's holding
pointing
the
at the
ca-
stall.
Yeah, okay. She might be going too far, but the camera view that we have,
There
I'm
should
fine
be
with that view.
I'm
They
not.
shouldn't. They should
No
not have put
cameras
her
in
in the bathroom.
Yeah, don't even film from outside into the bathroom. Don't even do that.
Just wait till she gets out. Oh, okay, you're done.
no.
You wash your hands. All right.
You film
You
her
get
right
no
here.
rest.
As soon as she opens that bathroom door, you stop.
You really,
get
Gabe,
no
you really
rest.
think she washes her hands?
Oh.
All right.
Listen.
With that said,
I'm not even gonna
on
say
that
it.
note,
My college experience, my freshman year, it was eye opening. How many people don't wash their hands?
Right, and then you know during the pandemic, you know she's probably actively not washing her.
Yo, real quick, I'm gonna tell you to talk about a dad joke that my daughter told me. When you are outside the bathroom, you're American. When you before you go in, you're American. You're American. What are you when you in the bathroom?
What?
European.
And let's start the show.
Let's start the show without music.
I said it was a dad joke.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Case Study QB. We are the political junkies, and if you can last the whole show, you'll be a political junkie too. Much love to everybody. Let's rock to the music for a little bit. Yeah, another week. We got a lot to talk about. Let me go around the horn and say what's up to my peoples. And real quick, I want to give a shout out to Holly Horn. There's a person named Profession, I guess. And anybody else say what's up. All right. Carlito, how you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. NBA preseason, baby. Hawks play tonight, and I'm missing it. But it's preseason, so I'm gonna let it slide.
My next playing tomorrow. So
I know.
I'm glad we have the show tonight. Gabe, what's up, my man?
All good, man. Going crazy busy, but we make time to get our political junkie fix.
Nice. Yes, Izzy.
Speaking of which, yes, that's very true. I'm just glad that the Yankees don't play till tomorrow, so I don't have to
miss that.
I don't have to miss another episode of the Political Junkie Show. But we'll see. We'll see.
That's what you was last Monday. You was watching the Yankees game. That's why you wasn't with us. Nah, it's all good. Ben Doan, what's up, my man? Don't turn on your mic. You know what, John? What's up, man?
Finally.
He fixed it. I think.
We'll see.
Much love. Go ahead, John. What's up? How you doing?
Zay, what's up? Happy Monday. Nice. Got one more game for baseball.
Yeah.
We'll see what the rest.
Literally one more. That's it.
That's it. I could just not have to worry about it anymore. Focus on it till next March. So we'll see what happens.
John, you should put your virtual background to I have a green screen so that your chest could disappear.
Oh, that's funny. All right, yo. So guys, for No Cow Zone, we're gonna be talking about Andrew Yang third party. We're gonna see where that discussion goes. And with that said, I want to play a quick clip. This one is for my man Izzy, the environmentalist.
Welcome back. We're following breaking news out of California, where officials are warning of a potential ecological disaster after an oil pipeline leaked, spewing more than 126,000 gallons of oil into the waters off of Newport Beach. Several beaches have been closed, and the pipeline, believed to be the source of the leak, has been shut down. Officials just finished giving an update on the situation, and NBC's Aaron McLaughlin joins me now from Newport Beach. So, Aaron, what have we learned here in this morning?
Hey, Garrett, that's right. Officials just gave an update with respect to the impact on the local wildlife, and they're saying that they're cautiously optimistic, particularly with the impact on the number of birds in the area, which is always a concern when it comes to oil spills. They say that they believe that there have been less of an impact on birds in the area than originally feared. That said, it's really only one component when you look at the overall damage from an oil spill of this size.
All right, so you got the gist of it. But my thing about this whole thing, and then I'm going to go to Izzy, is the way their technology for cleaning up spills have gone to like no type of advancement at all. They still using paper towels pretty much. You know, they use the buoys that goes around the damn oil thing, but it's like you might as well just use paper towels.
So, like, yeah, you're right. And just like the way we never learn, no matter how many school shootings we have, no matter how many mass shootings we have in this country, we will never enact gun control, is the same exact thing with oil spills. Like, no matter how many we have how many every single year, and, you know, massive environmental disasters that are caused by this, and we will never, ever do anything about it. Like, it's the American way.
Yep. Anybody else got anything to say?
sure we could do something about it. Just start throwing toilet paper at it or something. I don't know. They'll come up with something stupid. Just like you mentioned school shootings. I think it was in Idaho. They banned book bags at the school. Like that's going to prevent anything.
Like you said, literally they'll do anything but actually enact gun control. Book bag control perfectly fine.
Yeah,
but it's not like they make waist holsters and ankle holsters or anything to bring guns in.
That recently just happened though, right? Like
they're gonna ban pockets. No more pockets in pants.
Was it yesterday that
ban
happened?
pants. I think it happened either today or yesterday, John.
Yeah, because the thing. So my point is, like, if you look at it, like they spend more time talking about the Facebook being down for 6 hours than actually talking about that. Because I didn't hear it.
You didn't? Oh wow! Yeah,
you see it there, but like all you heard about was how, Facebook, it was down for 6 hours, and Tinder being down for as well.
So we just mentioned gun control, right? And
it was down too.
There is technology to help prevent more deaths. They have that technology where the gun can read the print of the owner, right? But the NRA has lobbied against doing that because you can mandate that for all guns. Like the gun will only work for the owner. And that would, I'm sure, would substantially decrease the amount of deaths because now your child can't take it and do, shoot up a school, or anybody who's not supposed to have that gun and is not trained won't be able to use it. But the NRA. So that's an example of there's technology out there, but it's still not being used.
We need.
Yeah.
I think I'm the most pro Second Amendment guy in the panel. So I think that, even then, as a progressive, I still think there's plenty of reasonable regulations we can put in.
Yeah.
Guns should be regulated at least as much as cars are. So registration, insurance, all that good stuff. We talked about in the past, police having insurance. There's no reason that every firearm shouldn't have insurance. And also there's no reason that if someone else gets your gun and then commits a crime with it, then that's on you. And that's something that either your insurance should pay for or you should be liable for. And I guarantee you a lot of people will, at least in the school shooting perspective, there'll be less students being able to get their parents' guns. Now, if it's a mass shooting to people from grown-ups in public, that one I don't necessarily have the solution for. But, I do think at a minimum, we should have a registration of all guns every few years and insurance.
All right. So I'm going to use the next 10 minutes or so to show a very, very good clips of Bernie Sanders' previous campaign manager. And he roasts Heidi Heitkamp to her face, a former senator. So it's going to be interesting. You guys are going to watch it. And then we're going to go to Carlito's rundown after this. But you guys are going to enjoy this. Trust me.
And I do want to ask you about something.
Okay. Is it too loud?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me lower it down.
That a lot of criticism that was leveled.
Is it still too loud?
That's better.
Is that better? Okay. That was better. Okay.
Against him for the past few months. And I do want to ask you about something that a lot of criticism that was leveled against him for the past few months is that he wasn't putting out a dollar figure, a top line amount. 1.5 trillion that we just heard about this week was apparently sent over to Senator Schumer back in July. And I just want to read for you what one of our reporters, Melanie Zanona, just reported, and that is that Congresswoman Debbie Dingell said that Speaker Pelosi didn't know 2 weeks ago about the document that Manchin signed about wanting that $1.5 trillion price tag. So, and that came from Pelosi directly. So what is going on within the party in the sense of communication?
Amazing. I mean, look at that document. It was signed apparently at the end of July. In August, there were floor votes on the infrastructure bill and on a $3.5 trillion budget resolution bill. And that document was never made public, right? It never got out. It was a closed-door secret agreement that, had it come out, I think that we would have been talking a different kind of Senate vote. And this is the problem, right? You are having a backroom, closed-deal conversation that isn't transparent, that isn't public. So I'm all for, hey, senators have different positions. Great, let's have it out. But what I'm concerned about is the influence of corporate lobbyists. I'm concerned about the influence of Senator Heitkamp and her group, right? If the problem here is that we're talking about popular policies that people want, and they are good with taxation of the wealthy to make them pay their fair share, And we are talking about issues that if you go to West Virginia, you go to Montana, you go to North Dakota, you talk about these issues, people are on our side. So we're not fighting over, oh, hey, we're asking you to take a tough vote. We're asking you to deliver for the American public on the pledges that you made, and it is the influence of corporate lobbyists that are cutting this proposal down, that are cutting the president down.
Well, and let's make clear. Let's make clear, no one is questioning the Senator Heidkamp's transparency here. I mean, we are just being transparent going forward. So her intent is not what's on the line here.
I'm questioning the substance of what she is arguing about. I have no problem. Well, you know, I'm taking in good faith that she believes in what she is saying, and obviously she's being funded to say it. However, the results of what she's trying to do is advocate for cutting down on corporate taxation.
All right, hold on. There's a part two. Any words yet?
I wonder.
Go ahead, John.
No, go ahead.
All right, here's the last one real quick.
Wrap this up, but I will say that let's not forget that the senator.
Absolutely.
Oh wait, let me lower it down a little.
She's big mad.
He is getting real heated. Started over.
We have a problem of dynastic wealth in this country.
We've got to wrap this up, but I will say that let's not forget that the senator.
She's like,
and let's not. Let's not forget this.
When you bring in corporate taxation, this isn't about corporate taxation. This is about individuals being taxed based on the transition or the transaction that their assets would go through. And I want to mention
billionaires,
something.
Senator Heitkamp, billionaires. That's what we're talking about.
I don't want to get inside baseball, guys, here because we are running out of time and we have to move on to the next topic. Obviously, things are coming down to the wire in Washington right now.
Producers are on her ear like cut.
I'm surprised. I was just gonna say, like, didn't they do that to who was it, Bowman last year during the pandemic? Where all of a sudden he was talking magically the feed just got cut. I'm surprised that didn't happen here.
Yeah.
All I know is I wonder like where all the fire was when he should have gone up to Biden.
Well, I mean, that's not Bernie talking.
That's not Bernie.
Right.
I know, but it's Bernie campaign manager. He should have just like.
Well, if he was running,
he would have said it.
The ones that made all the mistakes, it wasn't just Bernie. I'm sure it was his advisors that were guiding him poorly.
Yeah, this is one
but
guy
we all know Bernie. We all know how Bernie is. We know he's not going to be the one to attack his friend. And I don't think that I don't know how you pronounce his first name, Faiz or Faz?
Faz.
Faz. I don't think he is at all like Bernie. I think that he probably. I'm with Case. He probably would have, spoke up and said something.
But he roasted her though. He roasted her. You saw her face. Her face was like.
Yo, Raphael was like, wow, it's like someone got the cold stone stunner.
The cold stone stunner. I haven't heard that one.
Yeah,
that's
she was like, oh boy, he's funded. She's funded by them, so she's funded to be. And she's like, the CNN anchor was like,
stone cold.
I got one more clip for you guys.
Hit you with ice cream.
Yeah, I could go for a cold stone stunner.
Man.
Only Ben and Jerry.
Critics against people like Joe Manchin.
All right, hold on. Let me lower it down.
This is a follow-up?
Yeah.
For example, we'll wonder whether he is negotiating in good faith, given that he is on the receiving end of dividends from oil company stocks, right? And at the same time, he may very well be in charge of crafting climate change legislation. So I guess for the American public that may be skeptical about why certain exemptions are not being made or why we're hearing concerns about certain issues, that they're coming from a good faith perspective and background. Can you just lay that out for us, Senator?
Well, what I would tell you is I think the criticisms aren't coming from a good faith basis or background. Joe Manchin is not a liberal. He has been a moderate his whole life. He has been a champion of trying to get the debt and deficit under control. And now when it's easy to say, oh, look, it's because he's got dividends in an oil company. That's why he's unreasonable, and that's going to somehow mark him as somebody who's not trustworthy. I find it absolutely outrageous that anyone would say that. He has told you he put his assets in a blind trust. And I will tell you this about Joe Manchin. His integrity is right there in terms of what he believes and where he wants to move this country forward. When people say, oh, he's going to switch sides, I said he's a Democrat. Is there room in the Democratic Party for people who think differently than the Progressive Caucus? There's got to be if we're going to have a ruling majority. And I think this is nothing more than smear tactics on Joe to try and malign his motivations as opposed to trying to respond.
I'm sorry.
Can you cut her mic? Cut her mic.
That's like Case saying Gabe is a man of principle.
What?
Yo, you missed that whole conversation, Gabe. You missed it.
That's gonna be the no calzone. No calzone. Is Gabe a man of principle?
That's what happens when you don't show up on time. You get roasted without you even being here.
Oh man, so what you guys think about that one? That was terrible. This woman, I couldn't believe she was lying straight out of her mouth like that.
Let's just say we didn't even have enough memes to cover how we
I know,
felt
right?
about.
You cannot say you're the party of the people and think that you'll be like a Joe Manchin Democrat.
It's the problem with the big tent. We want to have everybody under the tent, and in turn, we get the least popular policies under the tent are the ones that always win. So we have to, again, that's why being a Democrat is a fool's errand.
All right, so this is the last
says
clip.
Republican in disguise, and it couldn't be more right about that.
Yes, and then Carlito, get ready. Right after this, we're going to go into the rundown.
And I want to ask you something about what you're currently doing, because your group is lobbying to campaign to preserve something called the stepped-up basis loophole, which allows people to avoid paying capital gains taxes on inherited investments. President Biden and other congressional Democrats are saying by closing this loophole, they can raise over $100 billion over the course of 10 years. And just a few months ago, you called the thing that you were fighting for now one of the biggest scams in the history of forever. I'm quoting you. What has changed? How do you square that now?
You know, it is so interesting because as much as I have tried to explain the difference in what I'm doing compared to stepped up basis, it never gets through. And this is why it is so incredibly frustrating for moderates, because the positions are always skewed and always turned around. I do not oppose reform of stepped up basis. What I have said is that we should not be taxing unrealized capital gains and taxation at death. I have spent the better part of my time since leaving the Senate trying to build a democratic base in rural America. Let me tell you, when over 300 farm groups oppose the provision of taxation at death, maybe we ought to listen and realize that, as Nate Silver has pointed out this week, that you are not going to control the Senate unless you figure out a way to make inroads in the United States, rural America. And so I still believe we need stepped up basis reform, especially as it relates to equities. I just do not think that we should provide for taxation at death when it's not realized. I think that will lead to incredible disruption in rural America and disruption in family businesses.
Yeah, because critics
How many
say
people in
that
rural
this
America are going to even
disproportionately
apply?
benefits the wealthy Americans. But this.
Yeah.
Rural America, rural America got billions of dollars in inheritance ready to give out.
I mean, her net worth as of like 10 years ago was like $3.5 million, and all came from investment. So imagine now. Like I try to do a quick Google like to see, and it says 2012 her net worth was 3.5 million, and it was all an investment. So she's trying to protect her own.
Yeah, there's barely any small farmers left. It's all the farmers she's talking about, probably like huge conglomerates, Monsanto's of them. But there's not that many small farmers left. And how many of them are going to have billions in wealth that they're going to pass on?
You know, all the Bezoses and the Gates that live in rural America. You know those guys.
Produce the chicken.
Those guys, the ones that live in rural America.
What really jumped out to me was she was saying to build a base in rural America, we have to blah 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 tax loophole. No, we need to pass Medicare for all, and then we would probably win the next 10 elections if the Democrats pass Medicare for all or any increase the minimum wage or any of these policies. You would see rural America start doing better. So
but if you talk to rural America, you think they like all those Wall Street billionaires? They'll be fine with taxing the health care. I mean, like that a curse or not, but taxing them a lot.
Yeah. The guy in Canada that started their universal health care, he's known today as the top Canadian. Like they celebrate him as like the #1 best Canadian right now. So if whoever brings Medicare for all, If Biden signed that into law, he would be like above FDR, easily, So, all right, let's get into.
Problem is the real America. They use religion, and that's everything. Like, oh yeah, religion that's why you should vote for us.
Yeah, it's terrible use of religion. But Carlitos, let's get into the rundown. Anything? Oh, CMT. What's up, PJ Chris? Much love to you. Just give me a shout out. All right. Anything in the chat before we go to Carlitos rundown?
Yeah, we got a bunch of people. What's it? Perfidian, Blue Beans in the house. Who else?
Yeah, what's up, Blue Beans?
A couple of names in here. Wear Pilgrim in the house.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Chris, Holly.
Chris said, small farmers sell local, corporate farms sell anywhere they can. Yep. This is the truth.
Uh-huh. All right, we're ready to do this. First story. Deaf Colorado man arrested for not complying with police commands he couldn't understand, lawsuit says, by Minnie Von Berg for NBCnews.com. Colorado man was stopped for a misdemeanor traffic violation. Nothing to get arrested for, but because the worst thing you can do to cops is not respect the authority, they put him in jail for 4 months. Well, why didn't he just comply, you ask? Well, he's deaf, and he was also blinded by the squad car lights. Then he got pinned to the ground and tased for not doing what the cops verbally told him to do. The deaf man, Brady Mystic, was released and his charges were dismissed. He's not suing them for the incident and also for not providing an interpreter while in jail. I have no words. Case.
Yo, this story hurt my heart because it's kind of near and dear to me because I have 2 kids with autism, so they have special needs, and I can't imagine them being in a situation where the cop is asking to comply and they're nonverbal. They're not going to understand what he's talking about, and they're just going to attack. And this is a situation where cops should be trained to know how to handle these situations. Above any other occupation that's out there, they should be one of the top 5, if not top 2, that would know how to handle a situation like this. And time again, we see cops. There's a video, cops shooting at a kid with autism that his teacher was trying to block and tell the cops that he was autistic, and they still shot the teacher. Like, it's really dangerous. It's hurtful, and
I don't even think it's like even a training thing. Remember the guy in Rochester, New York? His brother called because because the brother has some issues. I mean, he was naked in the street. Obviously, he's not fine, but they decided to put him on the ground and put their knee on his neck or whatever it was, or on his back. And so I don't think it's a training thing. And in this situation, it was really not a training thing because one of those cops got fired before for assaulting an unarmed 74-year-old man. So, obviously he just wanted to do it. I think a lot of these cops are people that become cops because they want to be bullies.
Yeah, that could
4 months. Like, how crazy is that? Like 4 months in jail, like, and not providing an interpreter or anything. And it's like, again, like everything goes back to training. Like we got to take this whole training concept out of the way. It's just, these are bad cops and you just got to get rid of them. And then, I think you said that it's a lawsuit, right? And like, we talked about this in the past, like the lawsuit, the cops not going to really care because who's going to pay for it? It's the state. They're going to keep doing this until they are responsible for this type of behavior. We're going to continue to see this every day.
Yeah, so Sterling and Chris in the chat, he is suing right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point Sterling was making. But Sterling also said B cops shouldn't have guns. They need to be a detective or on SWAT to get a gun. I mean, cops should be abolished altogether. But I kind of agree with that. I mean, why should these essentially traffic cops just walk in the street? Why should they have guns?
And
or even
Raphael
taser,
said,
I mean, why?
Raphael said his son is also autistic and worry about this every day. I mean, any parent with a child with special needs or a handicap in any way probably worries about this. It should not be that way, unfortunately. All right.
Next story. In loving memory of Tim Scott by National Treasure Malcolm Harriet from TheRoot.com. So Senator Tim Scott was once a proponent of police accountability. But after he obstructed police reform legislation, even cops are calling him a liar. This is because Tim Scott had been trying to pass a law called the Walter Scott Notification Act since 2015. Scott's bill will have made a public database with every instance of police use of force, and any state that refused to report will face a 10% reduction in federal law enforcement grants. Yes, Tim Scott wanted to defund the police. So the George Floyd Act has similar elements from Scott's bill because they added it in there. Cory Booker got the Fraternal Order of Police, America's largest and most powerful police union, representing more than half of the nation's 697,000 law enforcement officers, to agree to this and more. But Tim Scott walked away and blamed the Democrats for not compromising and for wanting to defund the police when they had things that he wanted to do. So yeah, the Fraternal the Order of Police call him a liar simply because Tim Scott is a Republican hypocrite first and a black civil servant last. I don't know what you think about this. What's up, Gabe?
I don't know what to make of it because on one hand it had the policies that he really was in favor of, and then on the other hand he's saying he doesn't disagree. I honestly don't know what to make of this. What's the motives here? Is it financial? Is it, I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, I think
just that he's the bad guy because he's a Republican. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think he couldn't get any Republicans to agree to anything. They were never going to agree to anything. So he just making an excuse and carrying water for these people. So this and the one group that stood up for him was National Sheriff's Association, who represents only 3% of law enforcement officers, and they're overwhelmingly white and racist. So they have sway over the Republican Party in the government. And I say they are racist because a lot of them basically have said, to almost said it, straight out. They said they're not going to enforce laws by Democrats if they feel that they don't have to. And Jeff Sessions was telling them that they represent like the Anglo-Saxon history of cops or something like that. So, they're proud of their racism.
Yeah, so one thing too. Go ahead, John. Go ahead, Case. Go ahead, Case. Sorry.
I just want to make this point real quick that this is the problem that the Democrats have all the time. They had this with Obamacare, where they try to be bipartisan and they try to have create Obamacare and try to get input from the Republicans, and all they did was obstruct, and at the end they had to pass Obamacare all by themselves with just Democratic votes. Here's another example of the Republicans coming in and say, "Oh yeah, we want to help, and all they did was waste time. And Tim Scott, I don't know if it was intentional or what, but he had no problem just wasting everybody's time. I think the Democrats, and I always go back to this, they would have been better off when the insurrectionists, January 6th happened, and then all those Republicans in the Congress voted that Biden was not the president. From then on, the Democrats' narrative should be, we can't work with these guys. We can never work with them until they, those people that voted for that, until they punish their own people, we're not going to work with them. And we would be way better off. We would at least be negotiating with Joe Manchin, trying to get some kind of thing done through reconciliation. But anyway, go ahead, John.
Well, one thing about, I just want to make sure that I bring up, is where the Fraternal Order of Police, they agreed a lot with Cory Booker on the recruiting standards and the boosting training for police executive. However, they oppose the qualified immunity and the standards under which officers are persecuted under using force. So the two things that we really always talk about is the two things that they oppose. So they were in favor for more training and also training executives. So what are they really like?
I think they were in favor of the database at least.
Yeah, they were in favor there, but they were opposing the qualified immunity into which standards the officers are being held on when they're using unnecessary force. So it's like,
yeah, the qualified immunity they're never going to agree to, but that is the biggest thing. But even without qualified immunity on the table, Tim Scott still couldn't agree. That means he never really cared to agree.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think Scott is definitely a sellout and stuff like that, but I just want to make sure that we didn't say like the police, the fraternal police was just agreeing to kind of like everything. They agreed to the standards of training. But even like, let's say, okay, they're never going to agree to the qualified immunity, but it's here as they oppose the standard on which officers are prosecuted for using force. So it's like, what do you mean? Like, if you're using unnecessary force, you should be prosecuted. So,
well, they're common sense again.
They're still cops,
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, like we say, yeah, they agree with Booker, but all they agreed on was just training. Which that's their answer to everything. We just need more money for training. We need to increase the budget for training. And to them, everything is just training.
Earlier in the chat, Chris said, let's talk about where these cops are being hired from. And right away, Sterling was like, the kilitary. And that is that's so true. Sterling also said he heard about us from Harlan's Media, and that he's glad, that we sift through the MSM media garbage so that he doesn't have to, or they don't have to. I'm not sure. Pronouns, but that's just so I know, Sterling, you're new here. That's all Case. That's all Case in the bottom right hand corner. He's the guy that does all the hard work for us, so he's the one that deserves all the credit. But like Gabe said, we love HLM, and glad you made it over from their channel.
Yeah, Case is like the giver. You ever read that book when you were a kid, where one person holds the burdens of the entire world? That's Case. Case holds the burdens of watching all the mainstream media so that the progressive YouTube doesn't have to.
Yeah. We get the clips. We got the highlights.
With that said, I want to give a quick advertisement to our fellow political junkie, Amani Oakley, running for office, and she's also a People's Contender. And so check out peoplesgauntlet.com, peoplesgauntlet.com. There's a new website coming soon. I'm very excited about that, where each of the candidates, they're going to have their own profile page. So it'll be like peoplesgauntlet.com/Amani Oakley. And it's going to have all their gauntlets and all their answers. It's going to be fire. All right.
You can learn all about where they stand on the issues.
Exactly. And then there's another phase 3 that I'm very excited about, but I'm not even going to talk about it right now. It's too fire. All right, let's go on.
Ooh, getting people excited.
Yeah.
All right, next story. More than half of police killings are mislabeled, by Tim Arango and Shalaya Dewan for the New York Times. A study by researchers at the University of Washington confirmed the findings of past studies. Cops lie. In this case, about the amount of people they kill. This study found that about 55% of fatal encounters with the police between 1980 and 2018 were listed as a different cause of death. They estimated that roughly from the time of the war on drugs, since the rise of the mass incarceration, nearly 31,000 Americans were killed by the police, with more than 17,000 of them going unaccounted for in the official statistics. And the study also documented a stark racial gap. Black Americans was 3.5 times as likely to be killed by the police as white Americans were. Data on Asian Americans was not included in the story, but Latinos and Native Americans also suffer higher rates of fatal police violence than white people. I mean, water is wet. Cops lie. What can I say?
Yep. Who's that for?
That's a rapid fire.
That's like
keep it going.
Like,
police lie. That's it.
Keep it moving if nobody got
all right. Next story. People under 40 will experience unprecedented life of climate change disasters, study says, by Christine Fernando, USA Today. The journal Science published a study that found that children born in 2021 will, on average, live on an Earth with 7 times more heat waves, twice as many wildfires, and almost 3 times as many droughts, river floods, and crop failures as people born 60 years ago. This is why young people are so pissed off at the adults in charge who are doing little or nothing because they care more about money now, or they'll be dead later, so they don't care. It also makes the very articulate comments of Greta Thunberg at the Youth Climate Summit last week about all the promises so spot on. Blah, blah, blah. Izzy?
Mm-hmm. I mean, you nailed it, right? Like we talk about, all the stuff that the youth is going through these days and, all the pressures that they have that, I think there's even been studies that show that, the climate crisis is a huge, front of the mind pressure for a lot of these youth because they know what's coming for them. Even most adults don't even know, but these kids know because, I mean, I guess the little bit that we are able to educate them in schools, you know, they're learning that like this is going to be their future. They see it on TV now. You know, they see what's going on in the West with the heat waves, with the wildfires, with the droughts, and you know, even in New York, we're getting hurricanes now. Like we're getting massive flooding. You know, they see it and they know that it's only going to continue to get worse because we are headed in the wrong direction still. We're not doing anything to change our course in terms of how we're making this planet unlivable. We are all, I've said it before here, you know, all of us in this panel, all of us probably watching right now are going to see it firsthand. Luckily, you know, we'll be towards the tail end of a lot of our lives by the time it gets really unlivable. But, you know, it's you can see why these kids are living with massive anxiety all the time. I totally get it.
The sad part is I'm optimistic if we all had a functional government that said, okay, we're just going to get trillions of dollars. We're going to invent a machine that can pull the carbon out the air, the methane. We're going to have
you don't have to invent it. It's already there. Iceland just implemented a carbon capture system. So we have the technology already. It already exists.
Is that the one that takes out like 3 pounds of carbon every 10 years though? Is it, or is it effective? Is it truly effective?
I mean, it's effective enough to implement. I mean, you know, we're right at the beginning stages of this technology, right? So I mean, just like when we first started having electric cars, they could only go 100 miles. You know, we have to start somewhere. But my point is, we already have the technology. It's just we're, like you said, we're not investing the trillions of dollars to actually implement it. And it has to be a worldwide thing. It can't just be a U.S. thing. It has to be a China thing. It has to be an India thing. It has to be all these countries coming together, just like we did for the you know, for the CFCs, you know, when we were burning up the ozone layer, and we fixed that immediately. This has to be the same thing, and it has to happen right now. But I mean, we're headed in the complete opposite. We're trying to burn more coal. You know, we're still having oil spills. Like this is
coal.
Green coal. We're trying to burn green coal.
Clean coal.
You wash it, and it comes out clean.
Yeah, just like Trump said. So it, you know, we're. Oh, hold on. Let me not even say it. I'll just show it.
Oh man, yeah, I think that's funny because like back in the day, like you said, the greenhouse, the ozone layer, they were able to identify it. They saw the problem, fixed it, right? But I think it's because the ozone, what was it, the aerosol? They didn't have a big enough lobbyist, right? That's what the problem is.
Basically, you know, the 80s, early 90s, and you know, there was a really easy alternative too. They could just use propellants that didn't deplete the ozone. And
I mean, the companies, they were easy for them to switch to different kind of, you know, bottles or whatever. So it was easy. When you're talking about climate change right now, they're not gonna give up money because they can't flip from drilling for oil to building electric cars on a switch like that, you know. So, you know, the lobbyists are not gonna allow our government to just give up that cash cow easily.
Exactly. Chris said, funny how the USA is trying to completely shut down the border because our country is going to have people moving because of climate. We already have climate refugees. And you're right. I mean, within our country, we already have climate refugees. You know, people, you know, the West is almost becoming unlivable, you know, so we're going to have even, you know, within our country, we're going to have to move people around just to find places to, to survive.
Even Georgia's getting type hot right now.
Right.
Raphael said, we basically gave them the apocalypse. We're giving the next generation. We're just handing it to them. Like, here you go. Yeah. You solve it.
Our parents gave us the, you know, the whole, I mean, basically the entire economy collapsing, you know, but, and then we're giving them just the whole, you know, the whole climate collapsing.
Yep.
All right.
Any more stories, Carlito?
Final story. Manchin demanded bank bailout before slamming entitlement mentality by David Sirota and Andrew Perez at dailyposter.com. I cannot accept our economy, or basically our society, moving towards an entitlement mentality. These were Manchin's words when talking about the $350 billion bill that he wants to tank, which deals with climate change, as we have mentioned just now, healthcare, and poverty. These words came almost exactly 13 years after he played a pivotal role pushing for a massive Wall Street bailout that funded hundreds of billions of dollars of public money to the banks whose financial crisis destroyed the global economy and ravaged West Virginia with mass foreclosures. It's another quote from Manchin with Rick Perry. Americans across the country and in every demographic are feeling the pinch. If Congress does not act soon, the situation will go appreciably worse. It's time for leadership. Congress needs to act now. But this is what's happening now. The difference is that when he was protecting wealthy Wall Street donors before, he was okay with entitlements. But now when it regular Americans, all of a sudden he has a problem. What do you think, John?
Well, this guy is probably the most corrupt, like, politician, open politician there. And it's like, if you look at it, even in this article talks about a few years later, his wife got named on the board of director of the mortgage bank. And then if you look at the donors from Goldman Sachs, which was the bank that received 10 billion bailout, would have collectively become one of Manchin's most career campaign donor, according to the information from Open Secrets. So this guy basically knew what he was doing, right? He didn't care. Like, we always go back to this, and I think this is what brings everything kind of the show together. It's like, we're never going to get rid of this if, one, we don't have term limits, or two, I was actually reading if there a way to remove a senator from office. And from my understanding, there is not.
Really?
So once they're in there, so for him, all he has to say, well, if you don't like me, vote me out. So people get stuck with him for 6 years. We get stuck with him for 6 years. We get stuck with Simona for 6 years. So they don't really care, because there's nothing that says that the people could go out there and says, just how you recall the governor, right? If you're not doing a good job, you could have a re-election. For a senator, they can't. The only way that they could do is they could get impeached by Congress. So if we don't either do a way of saying, putting a law that says, you know what, the people could, because you ran on something, you won on this, you didn't deliver, we're going to remove you, or there's just going to be term limits, because this guy he knows into 2024, nobody can move him. So every answer he gives is, oh, you don't like it, just vote me out. You don't like it, just vote me out. If you look at Simona, right, she ran on lowering prescription drugs. That was her campaign. That's why Progressive backed her, and she won a narrow victory. But now she goes in and she's totally against what she ran. But there's nothing people could do. Stuck with her into 2024.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought up that point. That's something that, like, I want to add that to the people's gauntlet. Like, can we have a law to recall a senator? If they could do it in California for like frivolous little things, we can do it for the senators who are in there the longest. They're like, their position, 6 years, is the longest somebody could be elected for. And the House is 2 years, governors are 4 years, presidents 4 years. Like, we need to have some way to recall these senators. I really like that, John.
Chris says it depends on the state constitution. She believes that Colorado recalled a senator, but how does that apply to the federal level, though? How does the state constitution? Well, I don't know. That'd be interesting to learn more about.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
I was researching it, and it says that senator, from my understanding, I could be completely wrong, so don't comment this. The senator cannot be, per the Constitution, the senator cannot be recalled.
Not per the Constitution, but at the state level, maybe they have their own way of doing it. At the state level,
it says it can't. My understanding, but it will definitely be a very more interesting to.
It might be a states' rights thing. It might be a states'
rights. It's a federal position, so I don't know. Yeah. I mean, if they have it, I mean, good for them, I guess.
But you know what? So I don't know if you guys know, but the Senate position used to be an appointed position back in the day, and then we went through the progressive era. I think it was around Theodore Roosevelt when he was president, that there was a progressive era where they made that change, where there was so much corruption. Like, the governor used to sell the seats or do all sorts of corruption to appoint whoever he wanted, so it became an elected seat. So if that was done at the federal level, then I don't see why not they would have some kind of have an amendment to be able to recall senators.
Yeah. So I mean, an amendment definitely work, since that's federal position. I also want to point out from that article that there are other bailouts that Manchin was fine with, and the thing that they have in common is that as long as him or his family make some money out of it, he's cool with bailouts. Like tax subsidies for fossil fuel industries. Say in West Virginia, the state's Public Service Commission bailed out the power plant that buys waste coal from Manchin's family coal brokerage, Energy Systems. So it's like, hey, if I'm gonna make some money out of it, I'm fine with it. Otherwise, forget you. So I don't know. Are we better off? I mean, he's useless as a Democrat. I mean, are we better off just getting rid of him? I mean, because we know what all he's gonna do is switch party affiliations and run as a Republican in West Virginia. I mean, will it make a difference? Because he's not helping.
The governor did that actually. The governor he ran as a Democrat, and then when he got in there, he switched parties and became a Republican.
And I've seen it a few times. There's a guy here in Georgia right now that was a Democrat, a black guy, Trump supporter, that is going to run for governor as a Republican now. Yeah, but exactly he's not going to get it because Trump went with Herschel Walker instead. So he picked another catch and step him or whatever you call him.
I wonder how he feel about that.
What do you guys think of doing 4 years for senators instead of 6? Then you stagger them. You do half and half. So you do half on the presidential election year and half on the mid cycles.
I'll be cool with that too.
But then,
but the reason time between elections and you can't get recall, 6 years is just so long.
Yeah.
But then we hurt the people who then have to get voted in on the off years because it's just gonna there's just not as much engagement during that time.
I mean, but it's the same for both parties.
Just term limits, 10 years max. Get them out.
Can't do 10 years if it's
it'd be 12
6-year terms.
Yeah,
12
years.
12's a lot. That's a president and a half.
That's interesting, Gabe. I didn't think about that.
Term limits.
I didn't think about if decreasing the years would matter. Maybe. My initial thought, because I was so used to the 6 years, was no, but maybe. But let's answer Carlito's question. Would we rather have a Republican in that seat, or maybe the question is risk? Would we rather get him out to risk a Republican going with it?
Right. Like I'm not gonna say give me a Republican, but but if we have a more progressive person running against him, in West Virginia, it might be tough, but is it worth the risk?
But what's the difference between a Republican and Manchin?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So we could is there a worthwhile risk to have a Democrat, a more progressive Democrat run against him?
Yes, because I mean, to John's point, I don't know. I mean, and it could just be because I just don't remember. But what has Manchin helped us pass? What legislation has Manchin helped us pass as a Democrat?
The COVID bill that just passed when Biden was first in office. That was the first big thing that they did.
What did he get in return? Because
Manchin
in the first 6 months. He basically was the president. He would call all the shot, and then Simona was like, "Oh wait, I want some spotlight too." So then she's gonna start like
my beer.
But the thing is, like, she's a first-term senator. Like nobody knows what she wants. Nobody knows what she's doing. So she's just like, "Well, I want to be talked about. So here you go." So
so in West Virginia, we had what's her name? She used to be a Justice Democrat. She just moved over to the Swearengin. Paula Jean Swearengin. She just moved over to the People's Party, and she ran and won the Democratic primary last time. But watching Jordan Sheridan with Status Quo, he did some very good investigation work where he went to West Virginia and he talked to the progressives on the ground, and they revealed how when she won the primary, she didn't get a lot of support from the Democratic Party, and they talked about how Manchin pretty much is a Republican, like. He has endorsed Republicans as a Democrat before. So the only person that I think can have enough clout to replace him is Richard Ojeda. He used to be a state senator, at the state legislature of West Virginia. And he ran against Paula Jean Swearengin, but Paula won. But I wouldn't mind. That was Paula Jean's second time trying. So I honestly, I hope maybe she could... help somebody else. Yeah, give somebody else the shine to do it. And maybe Richard Ojeda, we could run him against Joe Manchin and we'll see what happens. What you guys think?
Well, the problem is we know that in not just West Virginia, everywhere, the establishment is going to support the more conservative Democrat no matter what.
Exactly, yeah, unfortunately. 8:51, so man, leaving a little bit time for No Cow Zone. Andrew Yang, third party. What you guys think about Andrew Yang starting his own third party? Is he? Go ahead, Gabe.
Oh, there you go. We call it.
Wait, so Gabe, you're agreeing? You want to talk?
It will be on board.
So
go ahead,
so
Gabe.
Gabe is not on board with Andrew Yang. After dropping the ball on that mayor's race, that he had it in the bag and he just fumbled it away. I'm sorry, you ain't gonna leave a party anywhere. You can't. You had it in the bag and you gave it away. So
is this 2 straight weeks you've denounced the demigod? First it was it last week that you denounced Tulsi?
I was Yang. I wanted him to win in New York, and he just fumbled the ball. He fumbled it at the 1 yard line.
Now you're being reasonable about Yang too. This is we're just shocked. We're just shocked. This is throwing us all off right now. We don't know how to process this.
Yeah, Yang. I mean, that was such an easy race to win, and he really crapped the bed.
Even in New York, he was. I don't like him.
So nobody is for Yang right now at all.
I never was. Like at first, it was like, oh, his UBI. That sounds interesting. And once you look into it, it's like, oh, this is crap. This ain't no UBI. Forget this guy.
Yeah. Definitely. My only thing is, okay, so you got the Libertarian Party, you got the Green Party, you got People's Party, Movement for People Party. Now he's trying to start his own party called Forward Party. I don't know what exactly the name of it, but I think at this point, I'm hoping that they can galvanize to have like a ranked choice voting or some kind of way that you don't lose your vote or, waste your vote, quote unquote. I hope they get some way of doing that federally. That's the only good thing that could possibly come out of that, which I know Andrew Yang is for ranked choice voting. But the problem is you have to have the Democrats or the Republicans, or they have to agree to it. So
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, just because he creates a new party or whatever, it doesn't mean we get ranked choice voting, right? Like, there's a huge leap from one to the other. And I mean, although we all agree that we need ranked choice voting federally, getting that passed with this Congress, getting that passed, oh Lord, is not gonna happen.
Yeah. I can't see it happening anytime soon.
Yeah.
Even though there's a big
chipping away at it, man. Little by little.
They have it in Rhode Island.
Race by race.
They have it in Rhode Island, so they can vote for Andrew Yang if they want to.
Yang and them were a trick to flood the field in favor of Biden. They were plants.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, after Saz's video, maybe ranked choice voting is not as great as it sounds. Either.
Yo, he convinced me. He was talking about star voting, and I really like star voting. Actually, I wouldn't mind that going down, but to start all over again with a new movement, it'll be interesting.
What's star voting? I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, so star voting is where, so let's say you have Bernie, you have Elizabeth Warren, you have Andrew Yang, right? And in ranked choice voting, you could rank them. Like you say Bernie first, then Elizabeth Warren, then Andrew Yang. But in star voting, you could give Bernie Sanders, like you could give him 5 out of 5 stars you really want. Then Elizabeth Warren, you might say 3 out of 5 stars. And then Andrew Yang, you might give him 2 stars. And then who's somebody real black? Bloomberg, you might give him 0 stars if that's a thing, So and then
yes, Calzone.
You gotta cause this I don't even understand it completely. You gotta watch his video in the People's Gauntlet.
Yeah, check it out
to get a better idea, because when he was breaking it down, I was like, yo, hold on a second. But obviously, the video is not an hour long, so he couldn't go into like a whole bunch of detail. But I mean, I suggest everybody watch it, man, because he makes a lot of good points.
So guys, check out SAS, SASS, and it's the Democracy Gauntlet that he did that has ranked choice voting in it that Carlito is referring to, and it's on YouTube, the People's Gauntlet YouTube channel. Definitely check it out. And while we're on the subject, tomorrow at 8 p.m., I'm doing another Progressive War Room with Brooke Hines, who's a progressive consultant. I'm inviting all my People's Gauntlet candidates, so it should be an interesting show. And basically, they're going to be asking Brooke Hines like questions from a campaign, from a person running. Like I told them to ask any advice that you need. That usually you would pay a ton of money for a consultant, but Brooke is an excellent person.
Which money we're paying Brooke for this service?
I know, exactly. She's doing it pro bono. So, nice. And then, so that's tomorrow, Tuesday at 8 o'clock. And then on Thursday at 10 a.m., I'm going to be in the Progressive War Room with a progressive poster. So look out for that as well. And just to get into the nitty gritty, if you're ever interested in how polling works and stuff like that. All right.
Yo, this is free stuff, man. If you're running, thinking about running, know people that are running, send them over there, man. That's like free advice.
Exactly. Somebody in our last Progressive War Room with Brooke Hines, she did one of these already with Juan Paredes. And in the comment section, they said, my wife is running for local office and she watched this and it really helped her out. So I was really happy about that. Yep. All right. So it's 8:57. Let's say what's up to the chat. Anything in the chat as we get out of here? Much love to Holly Horn Sterling. Go ahead.
Yeah, Holly Horn Sterling came through. Of course,
Rodriguez,
Chris, as always.
the Eagle.
What's that, Gabe?
I said Ralph Rodriguez, the Eagle.
Yeah. Let's see, who else do we have?
Like Chris, Holly, CMT.
We missed Big Neat this week.
Profithian, Blue Beans.
Yeah, Blue Beans. Much love.
Yo, our boy Neat, man. What's going on? Where are you? Where you at?
Pilgrim. Yo, let me talk about my background real quick. I went hiking to the Sweetwater Creek, and this factory behind me, it was a factory here in Georgia, made cloth and you know, a lot of stuff, but basically they made also uniforms for the Confederacy, and then got burned down by Sherman when, you know, he came down or whatever. So it was like a nice little piece of history while doing the hike. And also a place where they filmed part of the what's that movie, The Hunger Games, in there too. So
real quick, Carlito, did you pee on the building when you passed by?
Nah, it was already burned down.
Nah, you should have peed on it still. And yeah, as Gabe just put in the chat, apparently Chris tried to give us a super chat and she said it's not working. So I don't know if it's on her side or we're further demonetized.
Oh man, what in the world? Okay, I gotta look into that to see what happened. But as we leave,
I'm gonna send a super chat. Hold on,
I'm gonna play this interesting video real quick. As
I don't want to get into that.
Let me rewind it.
I agree with the statement, but look, this AOC and her squad, it's ridiculous.
No, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that, Lee. I really don't.
It's all part of the problem. It's all part of the problem. They do things and say things that make no sense.
And those on the left would say it's those on the right that are the problem. I don't want to have that you know what match on the program. I don't. What I do want to do.
He got shut down real quick. I thought that was funny.
He looks like the grumpy old man on like every movie or TV show. Like he just wants to yell about the youth.
This looks like whippersnappers with their hippity hopping,
I'm glad he shut it down though. He's like, I ain't having that because the left is gonna say it's the right, and I'm not doing it.
Yeah. He's famous for being that crime billionaire. I don't know if you guys remember that clip of the crime billionaire. Yeah. That he was like, I just want to do it for the people. Like, he's a mess. I forgot exactly what he said. But anyway, all right. Much love. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. Much love to my people. Carlito, Gabe, Izzy, Bendo, John, and Case, me, giving you love. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. I appreciate that. Let me give some love to our Patreon members. Get off my head up.
Thanks, Chris, for trying for the super chat, even though you couldn't get it through. We still appreciate it.
Well, appreciate
Pedro Hernandez, Nancy Bancher. But no, where's the music at, baby? Pedro Hernandez, Nancy Bancher.
Awesome, killing it right now.
All right, guys. Much love. See y'all later. See you next week.
Hippity hop.